Welcome to this little live that I'm doing. I am going to be working on a graduated bob today with the razor. And this is part 3 of a 4-part series on graduated bobs that I'm doing for my Sharp Scissor Society. Now, Sharp Scissor Society is my membership program, and it is a monthly program, and we go through different expanded back pocket techniques. We work on classic cuts, and it's just an all-around good technical aspect of things. So I'm going to be working with my straight razor, and I would love to know, first of all, where you guys are tuning in from, but also, do you use a straight blade or do you use a feather blade that has a guard on it? Go ahead and type your answer in so I know. But if you are using a straight blade, this is how you use it. You take it and you open it all the way up so that the blade is actually up. Then you take your fingers, do a peace sign, and set the blade right in there and then lock down with your index finger. Then the comb goes in your other fingers. So we don't actually want to hold on like we would normally hold the comb because that leaves the blade free. So I would love to know, do you use a guarded razor or do you use a cutthroat razor? So let me know in the comments.
There's a lot of people from all around the country.
Okay.
Ohio, New York, Nashville. Megan from Nashville.
Hi, Megan. Were you at our show recently? I was just there this last weekend and was doing a show at the Renaissance Hotel when Taylor Swift was in town. So that was crazy. And then also Ohio, I've got a special thing for you guys a little bit later. So my husband is going to be reading me the comments that you guys are making. So go ahead and comment away. If you have questions on graduated bobs, you're in my class. Thank you, Megan. If you have questions on graduated bobs or you just want to know something, let me know and I'd be happy to answer. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start my graduated bob. Now, one of the things that I always get asked is, how do you determine how short to take this first section right here? And what I always do is, graduation is cut at 45-degree elevation, isn't it? So what I do is I go here and then I determine the actual angle that I want this bob to have. So if I want the bob to end at the chin and I want the angle to be, I better put my razor away while I'm talking. If I want the angle to be like this and I want it to end at the chin, then at 45 degrees, this hair right here is about that long. So that's how I determine, is I take a look at it from a side view, and then I go in and take that about that short. So I'm going to start with the central vertical section, and then I will be pivoting my sections. Whenever you pivot a section, your partings become a little bit more horizontal, and it develops weight. If I didn't want that weight, I would travel through this graduated bob without pivoting my sections. Now, some of you may be asking, why graduated bobs? Why, everything is shags right now, isn't it? But I feel like there's going to be a definite shift in what we're seeing. It'll take years, and not everybody will do it. But the shag is so popular right now. It's such a beautiful, soft cut. But all the length is on the bottom, and the short textured areas are on the top. So when you're looking at that, you have a definite pattern. And we're going to start seeing a shift to the length being on the top. It's just a natural progression. Okay, so I'm going to be coming out 45 degrees. Remember, I've got that length. I know how long I want it. I need to slide past my guide, and then I'm going to be using a really soft stroke. I love cutting a graduated bob with my razor because it automatically just gives us a beautiful, beautiful soft line. So that is my starting. Now, graduation is always going to be shorter underneath and longer on top. That's what gives us that beautiful shape. So do you guys do very much graduation, or are you mostly doing regular bobs or layered bobs? Let me know in the comments, and Mark will let me know. So you can see right here, I'm starting to pivot. I took my first section vertical, and I'm going to start pivoting around to my diagonal. So here we go. I'm combing the hair perpendicular to my part, which is going to give me control over my shape. So one more section here, pivoting And I'm cutting parallel to my parting.
What's the graduation?
Okay, a lot of graduation, nice. I think they're the most beautiful shape. They're designed to cup the occipital bone. Oops, there's a long piece. We don't need that. Okay. And then just starting to see that weight developing right away. So I'll work on the opposite side. Now, when you're working on the right-hand side, your elbow is going to be up. We want our arm and our hand to be in line with the line that we're cutting. Now, when you're on the right-hand side, your elbow's up. Left-hand side, your elbow is down. So my fingers are always in line with that shape. So coming in, combing perpendicular to my parting, and using the same size stroke as I use on the other side. That up out of the way. I did three sections on the other side, so that's what I need to do on this side. It's very important that we keep our distribution and our elevation consistent from side to side, and it all begins with our partings because we comb directly off of our parting. So just working that. And Mark, are there any questions out there that I could answer?
Are you doing a traveling guide?
Okay, am I doing a traveling guide? Yes, it is a traveling guide. So it's traveling from one section to the next. Just a little bit extra length right here. Okay. So if it were a stationary guide, everything would be coming back to the middle, but I'm actually traveling with my guide and pivoting as I go. So that's kind of the basis of our graduated bob underneath. And like I said, this razor is going to give a very, very soft feel to it. So my next section is going to go to the top of the ear, right there, and I will continue my pivots. What other questions do you guys have? Oh, I'm going to tell you about, while you're thinking of them, coming up in Ohio, I'm going to be doing a one-day hands-on class in Columbus, and that is June 12th. The link is in my bio. It's on Eventbrite, and the day is it 5:50, Mark?
5:50 for the look and learn and the hands-on.
Yep, 5:50 for the look and learn and the hands-on, so the full day. And then if you wanted to come to just the look and learn in the morning, I'll be doing 2 models, and that is $200. Yeah.
Somebody asked, boots is elastic.
No, you
diagonal
can't.
partings?
Yep, diagonal partings. So my last parting ended right here. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take my next parting out to that same point, right there. Wish I had another clip, but we'll go like that. That works. Okay, so I'm going to be combing off of this parting. I need to slide past my guide, and I can see the density shift right there using a nice open stroke. All right, like that, following around. And try and keep everything in shape as you're doing it. I don't ever worry about these little guys till I'm all the way done. That one was driving me crazy though. Okay, my next section is going to pivot off of here. It's going to come out to the hairline. And then I'm combing directly off my parting, meaning I'm going to be taking the hair and combing it exactly off of that parting. So if the spine of the comb is the parting and the teeth are the hair, it's going to come directly off of that. This is why it's so important to make sure that you're consistent from side to side. There's my density, slide past the density, and then utilize the same stroke. And this will be a mirror image of what you've created on the head. In. Now I want to make sure as I'm doing that I'm not sliding past my, that I'm not continuing to slide my fingers out. I'm holding them pretty much stationary. So coming off of that parting, sliding past, see the change in density, and then I'm keeping my fingers right where they are. I'm not cutting, and I'll show you what I mean. I'm not cutting and sliding down like that, because that would get progressively too long. So here we go, right there. And always develop your weight as you go. Keep your partings consistent and create your shape as you go. So remember, I'm going to come from here all the way out to the hairline. If I cross back over and do this and comb the hair, look at the difference in that, the way that it's combing. Look how much more hair I would take out. So make sure that you go all the way across to the hairline. And then I'm combing.
The cuts need to be exactly even.
There should be a balance. So if I'm doing a cut like this, I want it to be balanced. But of course, the stroke of the razor is going to be giving you a softness. So I can see that there's a little bit too much length right there. So I'm going to catch that as I go through. So it doesn't have to be exact. A razor is designed to really be a soft tool. The larger the stroke, so the bigger that stroke gets, the more variation you'll have. The smaller the stroke, the more closely you will resemble a blunt line, a soft blunt line now. Okay, so continuing to comb.
But each section you're projecting at a 45 degree?
Yes, exactly. Each section projection is 45-degree elevation, and I'm combing perpendicular to the part. Okay, my last section. What's really interesting is graduated bobs can take a really long time to learn, but once you've learned them, there's only one thing that you do. You continue working at that 45-degree elevation and working on top of your guide.
Someone asked, is there any reason, about spending tons of money on a razor, or what's a good price?
That's a good question. This is my razor from Angel Blades, and I'm trying to take off just a small amount of hair right now. It's just slightly longer. This one is $160, and it uses the plie replacement blades, and those are my favorite blades, but I haven't used every razor. So, I don't know. I think the blade is really important. Yeah, with our razor, we include a pack of 20 blades along with the price of the razor. Okay, so now I've created my shape there, and you can see that beautiful rounded graduated shape where it's shorter underneath, longer on top. Now I'm going to be coming through and adding this front area into it. And I'm going to continue my pivoting. And I'll finish this side now. I'm pretty much set up. I know that I'm even from side to side here. So now I'm okay to continue forward. So I'm going to take a section underneath. I'm going to be transferring around into pretty much natural fall. So you can see I'm combing off of the parting. I'm going to be working with a stationary 45 now. Up until this point, I've been traveling up the head form. Now I'm going to work into a stationary 45, and I'm increasing the size of my stroke just slightly. Coming out to that front hairline. Maintaining 45 degrees. Now, as you're working with the razor, it's important that as you're getting around the client that you're working with the maximum amount of the blade, the biggest part of the blade away from the client. So on this side, I'm working with, this is called the toe and the heel. So I'm working with the heel of the blade on this side because it keeps the blade away from the client as opposed to if I was like this. So just as a safety net. Okay, and then my last section, oops, not quite, almost last. Coming on top. And you can see how my stroke is a little bit bigger, just opening that up, creating a little bit of softness, and dropping my elevation as I come around to the ear. In front of the ear, down.
Razors from what? Angel something?
Yeah, this is from Angel Blades, which Angel Blades are my scissor, well, it's my tool company. So it's the white scissors, the razor. I also have ones called Foundational that they're not white, but they're just this great little scissor. So yeah, these are mine. They're available at seriousbeauty.com, also through the link in my bio. So if you have any questions about those, I can answer that. So 45 degrees.
They usually start occipital, but they're going to try pivoting above.
Excellent.
Sorry, it's going by fast.
Yeah, it's going by fast. How many people do we have watching right now, Mark?
Right now, 91.
Okay, so a lot of people.
It goes up and down.
Yeah, a lot of people are hanging out with us.
In training, they're on their break in Vegas.
Oh, excellent. Excellent. And you can see that, just that softness. Now, when you graduate into the hairline, like what I'm doing, you will expose the hairline. You should see this. At the end, I'll probably clean up a little bit of that. But when you're doing a graduated bob above the hairline that sits like at the chin level, you will always expose the hairline. This line down here is not where you create your line. You don't create a solid line there. It should sit up higher.
You like this. Lucy says she loves her angel blades. The best shears she's had in 25 years.
Oh, thank you, Lucy. Where are you from? Lucy, where are you coming, signing in from?
Yeah.
Okay. Lowering that elevation. Okay, right there. And then I should be on my last section. I'm going to switch to the wide teeth of my comb just so there's a little bit less tension.
Hapa Hauli joined. I'm a Hapa Hauli.
Yeah, Mark is a Hapa Hauli. Okay, perfect. There we go. Now, I was talking a little bit about my Sharp Scissors Society at the beginning, but for those of you that didn't get to hear that, it is my membership, and this is part 3 in a series that I'm doing on bobs and graduated bobs. So we did one length, we did layered, now we're doing graduated, and actually the lesson, the video on Monday is going to be how to do this, tighten it up really tight with scissors, and it's going to be very technical. This is a much softer version of, but it still has the same, same concepts. So coming in, right there, that out of the way, and then just continuing the same exact pattern. So going out to that hairline, and you can see how I'm protecting myself by holding on to the razor. So I'm actually locking down so I can use my comb freely. Okay. So coming off of that parting, perpendicular to the parting, keeping my elevation at 45 degrees, sliding past, I can see the density pattern change. Now I'm using the toe of my razor. So I'm using just the very top of the razor. Here. I love using the razor for a graduated bob because it's just very soft. Hang on. I always find it's important to keep your sections clean. Just give yourself a really nice working space. I'm headed to Toronto this weekend, and I'm doing a class at the Toronto Academy with Didier Lachapelle. And it is the Synergy, which is Cutting Takes Shape. And it's a new cutting program that we've been working on for Cow Corporation, which many of you know I'm an educator for KMS, a global educator for them. And, excuse me, we've got a new cutting program for the company. So we combined Goldwell and KMS in their cutting programs and have come up with a really beautiful program called Synergy. So that is coming up this weekend in Toronto. Why won't that stay over? These clips, I don't like them. Okay, so down at 45 degrees, slide past the guide. So I have that one-day cutting program in Columbus, Ohio that I'm really excited about. I'm going to be covering kind of a shaggy, disconnected bob into a shaggy, disconnected pixie. So we're going to be working with very loose shapes, but it's extremely technical. I'll be covering my signature consultation method, which deals with face shape, body structure. How do you decide where to place fullness in a haircut? We'll go through a lot of those considerations. In the Look and Learn, I'm going to be doing 2 haircuts, and I'm still working on my models for that. So that is coming up.
Somebody asked, how would you do this with fine hair?
how would I do this particular cut with fine hair? I would do exactly the same pattern. I'd take a smaller stroke with the razor, or I would use my scissor. So if I wanted to have the soft edges, I would probably come in and I would do a stroke more like this. Can you see the difference with that? Mark, come in close on that. So I'll show you like what I'm doing right now is I've got a pretty open stroke like this. It's about an inch from top to bottom. If I were working on fine hair, I would make that more of a 1/2 inch stroke. So you'd still get the softness, but it would be a little bit more structured at the bottom. It wouldn't be quite as open.
We have someone going there from Michigan.
Going where?
To Ohio.
Oh, coming to see me?
And also somebody was wondering on Monday's class if it was still going to be 45 degrees.
Oh, yes. Monday's class will still be 45 degrees, only it's going to be a lot more about how to actually create the structure of this cut. So I'm kind of going through pretty fast, but yeah, it'll be more on the structure of the cut. Okay, so coming through, we're nearing kind of the end of the shape. Coming down on top, I've switched to my wide teeth, which just gives us a little bit less tension. Although I am holding on with some pretty strong tension. When you use the razor, you do have to get a lot of tension. I think a lot of times people don't like the razor, and many times it's because someone didn't hold on to the hair, and you can, I don't know if you can see that, but if you don't have good tension, it feels like you're ripping the hair. And really a razor should be just as clean as a scissor when you're cutting. It's just a softer version. Now, because I'm working off of a side part, let me see here, which side is she parted on? Okay. We're parted on the side, distance equals length. So I'm parted on the left-hand side. The hair is going to travel over to the right, which is going to give it a little bit more length when it swings back. So another thing is always keep the hair nice and wet.
Are you doing anything tomorrow?
Oh, guess what I'm doing tomorrow, you guys? I'm doing a Facebook takeover on Hairbrained. So I'm doing a couple of cuts. I'm going to be working, I titled it, I was like, what should I title this? And I'm like, Bob meets Pixie, who ends up on top? So I'm not going to tell you who ends up on top. But I'm going to be doing that for Hairbrained, and that will be at 10 a.m. Pacific. So I'll be doing that little demo there. Now, for any of you guys that are in the Atlanta area, I'm going to be doing, or Florida or anywhere near there, I'm going to be doing a 2-day intensive workshop. And we're going to be working from long layered shaggy hair into bobs, and then all the way into pixies. So that's going to be 2 full days, and that's $1,100. And then you can also do just the look and learn the first day. I forget how much that was, but it's on Eventbrite.
You also get lunch and
yeah, lunch and mannequin heads are included. And that's going to be at Candy Shaw's place, Sunlights Academy in Atlanta. So that's coming up on July 8th and 9th. Okay, so let's see here. How I always like to check my graduated bobs is I come in and put my fingers inside the shape, turn around here, inside the shape, and then pull out and take a look at what's happening. And of course, it's not going to be 100% exact, but you can see that we have longer hair on top, and then the shorter hair is down underneath. Okay, so my choices now are, because I feel like this is long and then we have this space, I feel like I need to either come in here and remove a little bit of that, or I can remove a little bit of this. What do you think? What do you guys think? The top or the bottom? Which one should I balance? I'm going to wait. Go ahead and vote. Top or bottom? Do you want me to take a little bit more off of this top and pull this up a little bit so that this makes more sense and softness? Or do you want me to take away some of this underneath so that it stays bobbier?
Here's a question. Do you do anything differently since it's a side part? not the question, but
Yeah, that's okay. I go ahead and answer the question, you guys. You want me to take the bottom off or some of the top off? Now, with the side part, yes, I do. You do something different because most of the time, someone who's wearing this cut is not wearing it down the middle. So usually when you come in, everyone wants the bottom. Okay, cool. We'll take off the bottom. When you take this back and tuck it, they should be even. And I usually will always work off of the side part. If you work off of the center part and they part it on the side, you'll have some shorter pieces. So I think that just depends. So this was actually a side part.
Can they flip it? Can they part it on the other side? The one?
Yeah, if you wanted to flip it, you're going to have some pieces that are really long. It gives a little disconnect, which could be kind of like just a little accent piece like that. It won't blend. If you want it to blend, I would work closer to the middle. So that's something you do have to ask your clients is, do they wear it off to the side or do they wear it in the middle ever? Okay, so most of you are voting. You want me to take off this underneath. So I could do this a couple of different ways. I'm going to do it wet because I still want to keep the razor in there and I want to keep it soft. So, or not too wet, just kind of soft.
Why do sometimes longer pieces on the side tend to flip out?
Because there's nothing underneath. So, and I kind of encouraged that to kick out. I wanted it to kick out. So I think it's all in how someone moves their hair around and how you comb it as you're working.
How can you avoid it?
How can you avoid it? Well, one way you can come in and you can, well, something this long is going to work with the natural curvature of the hair. I'd say flat iron is going to be your best bet. But you can come in and do a little bit of a bevel underneath and work this like kind of what I'm doing right here. So I worked a bevel underneath that edge.
You need to show that again.
Yep. Okay, you have to be really, really light-handed. So I'm going on the last kind of the C curvature. So you can see that right there. I'm hitting this point right here, just kind of collapsing that and working underneath. So it isn't a lot of hair, but it is working. You can see how that even kind of cups under a little bit more.
Oopsie.
I can probably, uh-oh.
Look at all the hair down there.
Yeah, look at that. And you can see how that kind of cupped that in. And I do this sometimes on like face framing if I really want it to come in. So that's a good question. Okay, so let's see here. I'm going to come in and just start working across the top edge of my, this is a razor over comb, I guess, razor over comb. Have to be really careful of the person's neckline. And then I'm going to just come in and that motion that I was just doing, I'm combing the hair and then I'm coming across the top, just skimming. Until I've removed a little bit of hair, and then I'm going to take off that bottom. So I think last time I did this, I was working scissor over comb, and I was really pulling, tightening up this shape in a very technical way. I did it last, I don't remember when I did it, last week? I don't know. I have no idea. But
you recommend it for very curly hair.
A razor
This
bob,
cut.
this cut. This cut could work great on curly hair, but you do have to be careful of the expansion you're creating. Curly hair expands on its own. So they would have to want like a really triangular shape because this is, imagine this standing straight out from the head. That's kind of what almost happens with curly hair is it pushes out. So you get a lot of expansion on the shape. So if they want that, then yes, I would recommend this for curly hair. If not, I might do more of a bob with layers because you would get a narrower shape. But if you want a stacked, shape with layers and, stacked shape with curly hair, it's a really beautiful cut. I'm sliding on the hair that's down here.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, let's see here. I want to firm that line up just a little bit. So I'm going to go in with my 40 tooth texturizers. And I like using these because these are part of my Angel Blade series. I like using these because they remove a lot of hair. These are not like a chunker that removes, like big pieces of hair. This removes like 50% of the hair. So it's a very good complement to a razor cut. So I can get a little bit more exact with it. I'm going to just remove a little more bulk there. My philosophy is always, when in doubt, just cut it out. I'm kidding. Look at it first. Working short to long. So I would love to see you guys in either Atlanta or Columbus for my hands-on programs. I've got the links in my bio, so you can go in there and check it out. Oh, there, that's getting pretty, huh? Can you see how much more balanced that looks once you remove that hair underneath? So it was either that needed to go, or I needed to flatten out the weight just a little bit. So that's always a decision you make as an artist.
And the client.
And the client, and the client, of course, yeah. Okay. So you can see how that's kind of, working its way in. Our short little soft bobby. And she could just let this air dry. That's what I really love about this type of a cut, is that if your client is low maintenance, this is a great cut for them because it does just dry in place. Okay, you guys, there we have it, a soft graduated bob. Thank you very much